Greetings, travelers, and welcome to the Droid Cosmonaut podcast. I'm Alto, and I'll be your host. And let's get this started. To get things started, I'm going to be introducing this podcast and the channel. This will be a weekly, possibly bi-weekly, we'll see how things go, even maybe more frequent if things turn out well. But this is going to be a podcast focused on video games, and this channel is going to be focused around that as well. We might get some video game news, but this is not going to be strict to one platform. It's going to be multiple platforms, so we're talking Xbox, PlayStation, PC, Nintendo, and maybe even mobile. But I wanted to get a podcast out there that I was interested in because I felt like a lot of the podcasts I was listening to, regardless of the genre, weren't really staying on the topics that I was interested in when it comes to gaming. So I figured it would be a good idea to start one on my own. And I've been toying with this idea for a while now, but I'm finally here getting it started, and so I hope you'll stay along and listen and see where this goes. We might even do some separate podcasts focused on music and movies, potentially anime as well. This is a first for me. I've never done anything that involves voiceovers, using my voice, so forgive me for the shakiness. This will also be all in one take, so I'm going to try and continue without fumbling over my words, but we'll see how that goes. So this channel, as mentioned, it's going to be primarily podcast focused, podcast driven as a visualizer. You'll also potentially see in the future short videos related to gaming news, and all of these podcast formats are going to be shortcasts. Nothing that's going to be super long for the time being. This is going to be just me, but we may be joined by a second host coming down in a few weeks. Once we get that host on here, we'll get to some full-length podcasts of just everything, but it's going to be focused on gaming. So hopefully, if that's what you're looking for, then this is where you'll come. And so to start things off with a little bit of history about myself, I started gaming on the Sega Genesis. My first game was Sonic the Hedgehog. Absolutely love the series. Sonic is fantastic. I've had various consoles throughout the years growing up and gaming PCs, primarily focused on console gaming, but I did stick to PC gaming for several years during the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 era. I did own both 360 and PlayStation 3, but I was primarily on PC and Xbox 360 at that time. A couple of my favorite franchises from the time. I mean, Halo has been one with Xbox since the beginning, and I've been playing it since the beginning. But on the PlayStation side, Killzone, it's actually a series that I miss. But I've been all on every platform. I've had GameCubes. I've had, I guess I've had a GameCube, not multiple. I've had not every Nintendo console, but I've gone throughout the years. I go back to the Game Boy Color. I've had the Wii. I have a Switch. Definitely not my first place to play games, but I do love any of them. The big hits from Nintendo: Zelda, Mario, Smash Bros, all of that good stuff. My current primary console is the Series X. Absolutely love it. it actually blows my PC out of the water in terms of performance for gaming, which is kind of a disappointment. But I built my PC 2 years ago, and my current PC, and it's a nice rig, but it's just, there's just something about the new consoles that's just different. I'd like to get my hands on a PlayStation 5 as well at some point, but we'll see where that goes. Really excited to see more from Sony and what they've got coming this year and next year. I don't know if you already saw, but God of War, sequel to the, I guess, re-envisioning of God of War is coming out. It got delayed to 2022, so that'll give them plenty of time to polish the game and get it ready. And before I go any further, I'd like to introduce the artist who did my character design. His name, or his handle on Instagram is ubi_proximus. Super solid artist, really great guy, close friend of mine who I had no idea that could draw or do any type of art really. He didn't come off to me as the artist type, and I just came across his Instagram one day and reached out to him, and I was like, hey man, didn't know you could do this. And he was like, yeah, well, he doesn't really talk about it. And I was like, hey, can you do a character for me? And got him all the ideas that I was looking for, and he had a character to me within a few hours, and then we finalized on color, and here we are. So if you like the style of the character, please feel free to go check out his Instagram and his DeviantArt. I'm sure he's got links to other things, but I'll be posting them in the description below. And one more shout out to an artist on SoundCloud and Bandcamp, Downtown Binary. I'm using his song in the intro and outro called Polaris. Absolutely fantastic, chill synth artist who I felt captured the theme that I was trying to go for with this podcast and this channel, which is around space, if you couldn't tell. And the chill synth genre is just like a very cool retro sounding electronic genre that to me comes off very chill, but it can be a little bit more upbeat and intense at times. But I think Downtown Binary captured a sound that I was really looking for, and maybe we'll see where that goes. But I'm hoping to we'll see. And so I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next segment of what I'm currently playing, and that is Apex Legends. I feel like Apex Legends is loved by relatively everyone if you have a decent connection and you don't have issues playing, because they do have a little bit of a wonky server issue depending on where you're located. But yeah, Apex is absolutely fantastic, and I'd actually like to do some gameplay videos and news videos regarding Apex. I've been playing it since launch. Didn't even realize it was related to Titanfall when it first launched, and got really hyped when I found it was. My close friend, who will be the second host joining us in a few weeks, we both of us are extremely into Titanfall. It's a fantastic series. Obviously, Titanfall 2 is a much better game than Titanfall 1 was, just due to the fact that Titanfall 1 was very limited. But Titanfall 2, without a doubt, if you haven't played it, one of the best FPS games in a while. And it's been out for years now, but I'm hoping that we'll get something for Titanfall 3. I know that Apex Legends probably pushed those plans back a significant amount. Respawn doesn't have the biggest team in the world, so we'll see where that goes. And what else? I've got Battlefield 5 is a regular title for me. I love the Battlefield series, and I'm excited to see what's coming next. Battlefield 5 wasn't exactly what I was looking for in a last gen / current gen game, but it still has that Battlefield formula. Really fun game to play. great shooting mechanics, and just overall, it's a good game, but it definitely has some polish issues that it could have used, and some TLC that I think DICE missed out on. But I think this next Battlefield game will be a real solid hit, and based just around the marketing that they're doing. And one more game I'd like to talk about that I'm currently playing is Narita Boy, which is on Xbox Game Pass if you have it. If not, you definitely should pick this game up. It is a solid platformer, very retro. I guess you could kind of compare it to Ready Player One in the way of the story, where the main character gets sucked into a video game, and it is a late 80s style, really awesome music, fantastic color and character movement, and it's not the most difficult game in the world, but it definitely has its challenging moments, and it's just a really solid platformer. Something I was looking forward to playing, because I feel like there's a really solid selection of indie games out right now that are great platformers that people may be missing out on. And I think Xbox is doing a really good job with Game Pass and bringing those types of games to Game Pass to get a little bit more visibility to gamers that might not have played them without Game Pass. But yeah, so right now it's those 3 games: Apex, Narita Boy, and Battlefield 5. But that kind of leads me into what I wanted to talk about next, which is E3. And E3 is right around the corner. So is Summer Game Fest, hosted by Jeff Keighley. And man, we're going to get some solid content because we're still within year 1 of the next-gen consoles. I guess current gen, but not everyone has them. So it's kind of hard to say that they're current gen because we're still struggling with supply and demand. But, we'll see where that goes too. Hopefully they can boost production numbers up, and these companies can get their chip demands met, and maybe everyone can finally get their hands on some new consoles. But E3, I'm really excited to see more from Halo, see what Infinite's got on the table after their delay. I know that's going to be extremely exciting when it comes out, and I think they're aiming for November, but they haven't announced it yet. But it's likely that I think it's pretty likely that we'll see it in November, and hopefully we'll get like a beta or some sort of multiplayer announcement at E3 so that people can go on and test it, since the game is going to have free multiplayer when it launches. And I think that's a great way to get people into the Halo franchise, since it's going to be on both Xbox and PC. And it's just, the stylized, it's a definitely stylized game, and the graphics do look like classic Halo, and we'll see where they're at with them now. But the most recent developer blogs that they've been doing for I wouldn't even say recent, I think the one in February or January, maybe even March, forgive me on that time frame, but absolutely fantastic looking updates to the graphics based off the screenshots they've shared. So I'm excited to see where the game's at now and what kind of content we'll see at E3. I also mentioned Battlefield. They just released a teaser the other day, and we're going to see some more. I think it's on June 9th, so that's going to be awesome. I hope we get to see gameplay and not just a teaser trailer, but I would like to see what they got going on. I haven't been this excited for a Battlefield game since Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 4 was okay, but I really loved Battlefield 3, and I still do, and every once in a while I hit it up on PC. But yeah, I'm excited to see what the next Battlefield game brings to the table, since it's going to most likely be modern. Because I think it's definitely a miss if they don't, since Modern Warfare was a huge success in 2019, and I think one of, maybe it's controversial, maybe it's not, but I think it's one of the best Call of Duties in years, and it gives me a little bit of nostalgia because I played the original Call of Duty 4 for hours. I think I had like 10 days logged on the multiplayer on that game, before Modern Warfare 2 came out. So came out, excuse me. But yeah, and another game that I'm looking forward to seeing at E3 and Summer Game Fest, regardless of where they show, is Deathloop. I think Deathloop is an awesome looking game. Gives me total Dishonored vibes, and I love Dishonored. I still need to complete Dishonored 2, but I've played through Dishonored 1 more times than I can think of, and absolutely love that game. And it's Deathloop just looks really cool, and it just looks like that classic. I don't know, I don't even know if it's classic, but it looks like that Dishonored formula, and that to me looks really satisfying. I mentioned God of War earlier with that delay, and Nintendo. I don't know what they're going to be showing, but I would like to see some new stuff, and I'm hoping they have some new announcements, because I feel like it's been a really solid long time since we had something from Nintendo that was not a remake or a addition to a previous franchise. I'm hoping that, maybe we'll get some new big hit game. I'm hoping that we'll see something on Breath of the Wild 2, because I feel like that was announced a while ago and we haven't seen anything since. Maybe we'll see some more Smash Bros. Characters. I feel like that catalog is already pretty maxed out. But Smash Bros. Is great, and it's a great game to play with friends. And it yeah. And I'm also excited to see, I'm hoping, and I've got my fingers crossed, my robot fingers, that we're going to see something from Mario in terms of Super Mario Odyssey 2. Absolutely loved Odyssey, and gave me another nostalgia trip where totally reminds me of Super Mario 64 and Sunshine in a few different ways, and it's just that game absolutely beautiful, and still play it today every once in a while. Got it at launch, and I think that a sequel to Odyssey would be fantastic. So we'll see what Nintendo does, but I think Xbox. I think we're gonna see some great stuff. They gotta step up their game, because they're still recovering from last generation. And I've had every Xbox console, and I think that they've gotten extremely consumer friendly over the past few years with the way Game Pass has evolved. And they are still playing catch up with Sony, but you know what? I think both platforms have their strengths and different titles that people look for, and whatever you want to play on is like, should enjoy it. It's, games aren't, it's not all about the console war, but Twitter will have you thinking otherwise. And which, if you're on Twitter, feel free to follow me. I'll have links in the description and some info on screen. Twitter, Instagram. I have a Twitch account set up and everything, and we're going to see about getting everything started and see if we can do some streaming possibly. And it most likely will be Apex, because that's what I play on the daily after work. But I hope you're enjoying this so far, and I'm gonna wrap this up really shortly. But so we'll see what E3's got for us, and maybe Sony will show some stuff at Summer Game Fest since they're not participating at E3. But I think this year's going to be really solid for games, and especially this year, 2022. We got a new Sonic game coming in 2022. We got a remake or an updated version of Colors, remake, whatever you want to call it. I'm excited for that. Like I said, Sega Genesis first console, Sonic the Hedgehog first game, and regardless of how bad some of them have been, they got character, and I love them. And even they're cheesy as hell, but they're great. They're just fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for listening. This is Alto again from the Droid Cosmonaut, and I will catch you next time. Please feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, as I said. And I am on Xbox daily. So if you would like to hit me up, I'll have my gamer tag information below. And yeah, thank you for listening. Please provide your feedback. Looking to get better, so excuse the hiccups and the dry moments, but hopefully we can only go up from here. Thank you for listening.